Whoops, I turned the camera off, not flipped it. All right. Okay, so this is the line that we're gonna do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to walk this way. And remember, your next line starts at the finish of the previous line. So the corners are everything. I like to call it you win the class in the corners. So let's pretend that that is your last fence right there. What you want to do is, if you're nervous, you want to balance your horse before the corner. Now this is a huge ring. I'll show you how big this ring is. So you have tons and tons of times to go ahead and balance. In smaller rings you have a little bit less time, but here allow yourself to take the time, and the first couple strides after the fence, just exhale. By exhaling, what will happen is you'll drop your shoulders, your weight aid will get softer, and then the next couple of strides after that, you can do a half halt with your fingers. And then if you have to if you need even more balance, then you can go to your elbows. By doing that, this is the fence, you start with an exhale, then you go to your fingers to balance, and then you go to your elbows. So your horse will start to get used to kind of this process, and once they do, they'll start to balance themselves, and then you might not even get to the step number 3. Right here, if you're nervous, there's a good chance you might be using too much leg. So you're going to want to relax your leg a little bit. And then that'll help relax the canter. You want to keep a grip leg on if you're on a course. However, when you're nervous, you might have more of a grip leg than you're actually thinking that you do, which will rev the canter up. Now, right here, I'm going to keep my shoulders with the horse. So if the horse's shoulders are pointed straight, I'm going to keep my shoulders with the horse, but I'm going to turn my chin to look. So there's my line. So I'm going to keep my eye on that line, but keep my body with my horse, because the horse mimics everything we do. So if I turn my shoulders, they're going to turn the shoulders, and because this is a huge ring, you're going to leave the corner sooner. All right, so my eye is on the fence. Now, the other thing is, if you're nervous and you're on a hot horse, look slightly to the center, but to the left. Okay, if you're on a slow horse, here's a trick. You can look slightly to the inside inside of center. Or if you're on a really, really slow horse, you can actually look at the right standard. And what that'll do, if you're on a slow horse, that'll mean that you actually don't lose momentum in the corner. If you're on a kind of a faster horse, you can go ahead and drift your eye out a little bit so that you can shape your corner a little bit more, because when you're nervous, there's a good chance you're going to cut the corner. Okay, so here I'm looking for the center, and now I have all this room to shape my corner, and now I'm going to ride straight. Now, here's what a nervous rider will do. They'll start picking their distance, whereas if you just let your rhythm carry you, right about here, you can go, okay, I need more, or I can just stay. Chances are, if you're nervous, you're going to say, oh, I need more. This is a tiny little fence. And you'll see in a second that I'm actually going to walk myself over it. Your horse doesn't need a ton of momentum. A horse can walk over this. If I can walk it, a horse can walk it. So just wait. And that's very hard for nervous riders. And then right about here, if you're nervous, there's a good chance that you have your leg clamped on. So you're going to want to exhale right here. Okay, so this is if you're on a normal blooded horse, you're going to want to just relax through here so that you don't leave out the step. If you're the type of nervousness where your body freezes, I'll do that next. And then your job isn't done yet. Now here you're going to exhale again and go through this corner. So that's if you're the type of nervous that clamps their leg on. So you're going to actually want to relax. And how you do that is create the muscle memory of walking courses. And if you don't have a lot of access to your ring, let's say, you can even just kind of do this in your backyard, or you can do it in your head. So that's how you would ride if you're on a kind of normal blooded to hot blooded horse, is you want to counteract their heat and kind of be the leader in energy. So don't go to their energy. What you want to do is have them come to yours. Now, if you're the type of nervous rider who freezes, okay, so the other one was the type of rider who clamps their leg on and goes. This is, I'm just walking as I get over to the start point here. If you're the type of rider who freezes, that's where you're going to have to add energy. Okay, so now I'm kind of at the point where I'm going to start my corner. Right about here is where you're going to go, okay, so I know that in order to get up this line, I need some energy. So coming out of the corner, you've balanced in the corner on that lazy horse, because you still need balance to come into the corner. But to leave the corner, right about here, you're going to say leg, 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 leg. So you've done all your work here, and about here, you've maintained the amount of energy you need to get down this line. And now, right about here, you're gonna, depending on your horse, if you want that hunter jump, you maintain your leg. If you want more of a jumper fence, you can kind of squeeze your leg here off the base. Depends on what job you're going to do. So let's pretend this is a hunter course. I loved Erin Ballard's. She was talking kind of off the cuff. What she would do is she actually takes her leg off at fences in the hunter ring. I believe it was, she was commentating on WEF when she was talking about that, and that's exactly what I do too. I get my rhythm over here, maintain it or add leg here, and then here I let the horse carry me to where I want to be. And then here, if I'm on a lazy horse or I have the tendency to freeze, I'm going to push my elbows forward and add leg for the first stride, the second stride, the third stride, and then I'm definitely going to evaluate what I need to do after that. So when you freeze, you're going to suck your body language in. So if you're that type of rider, basically any kind of nervous rider, you do suck your body language in. You kind of want to override this instinct to survive and create the muscle memory of going forward. And so if you can't create that muscle memory of going forward, then I suggest like lowering the fence even more and then lowering the fence even more until you're just being able to go forward on the flat. If you can't go forward on the flat, that's a real thing, depending on your horse. Like if your horse has a lot more energy than what you're used to, your energy is lower than theirs, or their energy is bigger than yours, you're going to want to work, rather than a canter, work at a trot. You want to start at a level where you feel comfortable, where there's, where your fear isn't. So if your fear isn't, you're like, well, I can't even like walk my horse before I feel fear. Then get off your horse and feel the fear until it's done. So you want to start at the point of where you feel comfortable. So if it's like, oh my gosh, like I can't even get into my car to go to the barn, then feel your fear at home. And then kind of work your way up the levels to like, okay, now I can get on my horse and I can walk and I don't feel nervous. How you make visualizations work for you is you visualize and feel at the same time. If you're just visualizing, it's not as effective as visualizing and feeling. And so you can do that by actually walking a course, visualizing and feel. Or I personally do this. Not everybody can. Like I can lay down in bed and visualize and feel until it's done. But some people, they can't recreate that energy or that feeling while they're laying in bed. Sometimes you actually have to be in the environment in order to feel it while it's, feel it until it's done. You can absolutely go to a horse show, not show, and pretend that you're showing and feel it until it's done. There's so many different ways of doing this. Anyway, that was just a quick talk about how to just ride a very simple line, just like this one, for the nervous rider. Thanks, have a great day.